Patlabor the movie is my go-to thought and answer for whenever people ask me about mecha anime movies. It's a well thought out, intelligent, and exciting film that understands pacing and how best to keep the viewer's attention without ever resorting to schlocky action or obnoxious comedy. Taking place in the then future of 1999, Tokyo is going through massive land redevelopment. We follow our band as Section 2 misfits as Noah and friends must race against time to stop a terrorist plot involving a computer virus, rampaging laborers, and the destruction of all of Tokyo. The story is full of twists and turns, but everything remains logical and grounded as we watch our intrepid and underpaid ragtag team of special forces officers do their very best to crack the code of a biblical obsessed madman. I really don't want to spoil the plot here, because it honestly does keep you guessing up until the very final action scene with what all is going on. Every bit of plot relevant information is doled out quickly enough that nothing ever drags, but the film also remembers to take its time and let every moment of atmosphere, drama, comedy, and spectacle really sit with you as you watch it unfold. The writing for the film is impeccable, being simple enough in delivery that it never throws you off, even with all the computer talk, but it's also filled with lots of depth and maturity for not just cramming reminders down your throat every other scene. Also to note, the film is genuinely funny, without forcing humor into scenes it doesn't need to be in.
You know that it's up to us to safeguard the city from a bunch of evildoers while the first unit's seniors are away!
Then who's gonna safeguard our human rights from abuse?
In the Force you have none!
This is my last one, so don't try mooching off me.
Listen, I need you to get me copies of all the dispatch records and incident reports for this month.
What? What's all this stuff about?
Just do it, okay?
Ugh.
But how did the chief find out everything, all the way down to the part about riding double?
Oh, well that's because I made Azumi talk and I ratted you out.
Commander!
Actually, it does sound like something our commander would think of.
He has no idea what Noah and I went through. That rotten middle-aged bastard messing around with the hopes and fears of our youth.
Oh, poor Asuma.
Curse that damn bastard!
Usually my problem with anime films is that most often, a good chunk of the cast from the show is shafted in favor of giving only a couple selected characters screen time. While it is true for Kanuka, who sorta gets jobbed in the final battle, she does at least get one of the best scenes in the entire movie.
Here for business or pleasure?
Neither. Combat.
And everyone else you know and love gets appreciation here. Noah is still her mecha, otaku, silly sweet self, filled with more passion for the big robots than most anime fans. Asuma really kept the plot moving with his hard work. Goto was as troublesome and as brilliant as ever, and everyone else was the characters you grew to love in the show, without the movie ever being unwelcoming to newcomers of the series. While I know people like to consider this an action film, and don't get me wrong, there are definitely some fantastic action sequences, this is first and foremost a fairly realistic and believable sci-fi political thriller. But please don't let that scare you off. Yes, there are lots of scenes where characters are talking and lots of exposition is being shared, but they add so much weight to what is happening in the story, and when the shootouts finally do explode out onto the screen, they are more than earned, especially with the fact that they've generally been set up and aren't just random drive-bys of robot carnage. The 3 action set pieces are all extremely entertaining, especially the finale with moments I feel that Metal Slug 5 borrowed heavily from. Also, you all probably know how much I enjoy fictional gore and viscera, but I have to applaud the fact that every bit of violence here is bloodless and extremely PG. If a film can make deathless action exciting, then it's extremely well done in my book. Patlabor is up there as one of the best animated anime films I have ever seen. Every frame is crammed with so many intricate details. The animation flows perfectly, and there isn't any choppiness or cheapness to even a second of the majesty that is on screen. Seriously, the use of colors, lighting, motion, it's just all incredible to look at. The film has such an odd comfort to most of it, with the atmosphere of Japan just trickling from every scene, and the moments in the harsh winds and rain were something I could feel. The characters were all given so much life with how they moved. Their facial animations were so much fun to watch, even if the animation director did have a bit too much fun using the fishbowl effects sometimes throughout the movie. All the action felt exactly how giant robots fighting should feel, and the scenes of suspense were really aided by some pretty creepy visuals. I know sometimes I have a hard time giving my thoughts on the sound department of films, usually just saying if it was good or bad, but my goodness, everything in the movie was auditory bliss. From the fact that every song in the OST fit the scenes they accompanied, to the fact that every track had me bobbing my head along, I loved the music. And the dub was phenomenal as well. Everybody on the cast bringing their A game to giving the beloved characters really believable life.
Everything's going to be all right, isn't it? I mean, Alphonse won't go on a rampage, will he?
I don't know. It's hard to say what acts as a trigger and sets him off. The only man who knew the answer is dead and gone now, and we still haven't found the answer to that question yet.
Oh, well, what can you do? Maybe it's a bug or some sinister plot, but either way, the case against Haas is pretty strong. Now, regarding exactly what the deal is here, we'll have Mr. Matsui continue to follow up on Hoba, the developer of the Haas and our prime suspect, and you, Shinohara. What is it?
Geez, Commander, you suspected Haas, which figured into this all along.
Well then, perhaps you would like to test the labor out. Although Officer Izumi doesn't seem very impressed.
I think she overheard us.
Yeah, why'd you have to diss her new toy like that? I bet she's gonna remember this.
I only said what came to mind. Don't you think he looks like a bad guy too?
That's a matter of opinion, I'd say.
Not to mention the sound effects were all punchy and top grade.
Wait, now there's 8! They keep increasing!
And with all that said, there is a reason that Patlabor is one of my favorite anime films. Well, more than just one. The entire thing is just a joy to behold, and it's insanely rewatchable in all the right ways. It's filled with a lovable cast, plenty of memorable moments, very well done action, and a smart plot that will keep you engaged. I recommend you check out this movie and then some. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider sharing the video with a friend or checking out my Patreon linked in the description below. I want to give a big thank you to not only the show's patrons, but also my great friend Orion Knight for making the wonderful Punish Neat that you'll see in both the thumbnail and occasionally in the videos, like right now. Their social media accounts will be linked in the description as well. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them in the comments as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off. Until the next video. See you guys!